Hi, my name's Sean Shaler. That's my friend Chris Ford, aka the Objective Geek of YouTube and Twitter fame, inside of our own minds. At least, at a minimum, he's got 100 times more followers than I do, if I did the math right earlier. That's famous to me, relatively at least. We're on a time crunch, so naturally I had a lot of tech issues, aka I don't know how to use my own computer that I've had for 5 years. I'm still figuring it out. But outside of this, Chris, I think I'm ready to go. Time crunch be damned. We say time crunch. We're just trying to be adults. But Chris, on that note, give me the 1 minute version of how your life's going.
It's going great. My parents are visiting tomorrow, and my two of my sisters and one of my nieces, and so I haven't seen really my family in over a year since COVID started. So my family get to meet my almost 1 year old child for the first time, which is sad. Like I might actually cry tomorrow.
It,
But
Isaiah, you picked the wrong time to be born, kid.
uh,
Not his fault. Not his fault.
his birthday is tomorrow as of this recording.
Oh, are you serious? So Sunday?
Well, yeah, Sunday.
Okay.
Yes.
Personally identifiable information. Nobody write that down. Nobody write that down. The, well, I'm glad they are making it up, and it kind of coincides nicely with the CDC came out with the big thing today. It's like if you're vaxxed, they've got enough evidence gathered to say that vaccinated people are not common transmitters. So vaccinated people don't medically have to wear masks in
Yeah.
businesses. Obviously, business by business, but that's kind of big news, like a light at the end of the tunnel thing. And I'm sure somebody will turn it into a conspiracy theory. But it's nice that your family's visit kind of lines up with that and your son's birthday. So it's a neat celebration. Somebody's turning. I already thought of it earlier. I was like, somebody is going to be like, well, they're just going to say that now so that the people that aren't vaccinated and didn't want to get vaccinated go get vaccinated just so they can take their mask off or some garbage like that. It'll happen. Sorry,
Oh man.
conspiracy theorists. I'm not on your side. I'm sorry. We're not very
It
political here,
reminds
but
me, we've had this conversation before. I had this one friend on Facebook who I always thought was dumb. Ever since I knew him in college, I thought
does
like
this
he was
person watch
not
the
not
podcast, Chris?
no, not that many people annoy me.
Amazing.
There's a few select people that annoy me. He was one of them. But like I posted on Facebook one time of Biden. It was like way before. It was like in November, maybe yeah, November of 2020, saying that like our pandemic response team has been like disbanded. Like we're not prepared for a pandemic. And I wrote like, see, this is what, people prepare for if they were, actually trying to govern and everything, not just disbanding things just because. And he wrote, don't you think this is fishy? Like, how
No,
would he
no, I
like
don't.
like how would he know that something like that would happen? Like it's not funny, but I'm just like because people
It's not
because
funny, but
people
if you don't laugh at it, you're
prepare.
just gonna commit murder. So, and now it's premeditated because I said it out loud, and we're recording. We gotta start this over. I don't know. I don't ever know. I don't do well with that type of conflict. And on social media, even at the worst times, I would say pretty apolitical. But there's certain things like, all right, that's far enough. You need to. I have a line somewhere, and
Uh,
right now it's medical science, but
yeah.
election's over. I'm pivot to
Uh,
medical science.
but no, doing great.
Excellent. Any videos coming up that we should know about, be aware of?
Nope, I need to get back on it though. I want to get back on it. Just time, adulting, you know.
I uh, I always say it on here when I make videos, and I've been making like I'm gonna say two every 3 weeks, roughly that rate, and they're probably not of interest to anybody on this podcast, but they're out there. Always appreciate more feedback. The more I can get, the better. And I try to improve on that. So I've got one out same day today. If you're listening to this today, whatever today is for you, it's already out. Go check it out. Give me some feedback if you're interested at all in video games. Um, Chris, podcast. Do you want to tell about the podcast?
Yes. So there's a couple Avatar news. We got some competition, Sean, coming up.
I didn't know what you mean. I was like, competition with who? The Arrow? No, Chris, those
uh,
guys are great. We don't.
this is probably the steepest podcast competition, but you know what? I like good competition. with podcasts. Maybe they'll invite us on their podcast. I don't know. A new Avatar podcast is coming
Fingers
out.
crossed.
In a very official, the official Avatar podcast, which is definitely more official than the stupid YouTube channel. Uh, it will it will be hosted by Janet Varney, who is the voice of Korra, and Dante Bosco, who is the voice of Zuko. It is called Avatar: Braving the Elements, which is it's a so-so name. If it's a fine name, whatever. Just like it should have just been Avatar, the official Avatar podcast or
The
something like that.
official Avatar: The
Or
Last Airbender podcast.
better name is Avatar: The Last Podcasters, or even the Great Avatar: The Great Divide. That's also a better name.
I agree with all the above. I like our name a lot, Avatar: The Last Podcasters. Other than that, there are multiple other podcasts that have played on that last podcast type trope, right? Because there's too many podcasts out in the world, and people have been making them too long and way more than we have. So, but ours shows up first alphabetically, so I'm glad we did it the way we
Nice.
did. We got all
But
those
okay,
other last podcasts beat.
I am looking forward to this podcast a lot. So Dante Basco and Jenna Varney will be reviewing episode by episode. We'll have some of the behind the scenes people on, maybe a couple of voice actors. Michael Dante DiMartino shared it on Facebook and said he may be dropping on, which is like yeah, he will be dropping on to the podcast. So I responded to him, oh yeah, I see you go on their podcast, but not my podcast. Why is that? Sure, I don't know you personally, but it's been almost 2 years now, probably since I sent him a message on Instagram.
We've had him
Still
on
not,
the slate right behind John Mulaney for at least 2 years.
yeah. Yeah. Shout out to John Mulaney. He's going through a couple of stuff right now.
I
Hope he's
know,
doing
it's
well.
tough. Yeah, poor
Yeah.
guy. But
He's getting divorced. He just got out of rehab, which I guess is a good thing. Um, but
I suppose if it was out of rehab for the right way and not like he escaped,
yeah,
We got one.
that sounds like a John Mulaney joke. So I got out of rehab. Not like escaped. Like
No. Like I
like
got
a
out
doctor said,
legit.
I was good to get out.
That
I also
Batman doctor came
also
up
got
and
out of my
said
marriage, which was an escape.
that,
But I'm kidding.
that Batman doctor came up to me and said, "You look different. You can go now."
The doctor's gone.
The doctor's gone. Well, come on, John Mulaney, you can do it, buddy. We're pulling for you. Yeah, looking forward to that podcast, and I will absolutely listen from day one, and I'll be the guy that comments on stuff, and maybe if we both comment every single week, be like, come hang out on our podcast. Someday
Yeah.
they'll give us a thumbs up and then not respond to us.
I
That'd
did
be
ask
awesome.
Janet Varney once on Twitter, and she just hearted the tweet. So
In Twitter language, that
there's a
means
shot.
yes.
That's a binding agreement.
That is. Did I just hashtag? I love those commercials. And was there another piece of news that came out this week?
I don't
Just a
think
podcast?
so. I think just a podcast.
I might just be dreaming of more Avatar content now that like things like this happen, and then my dreams just make up more stuff. But okay, well let's go ahead and jump into this episode because we do
Yes.
have to cover it against our better judgment. Yeah, I won't give anything away. Go ahead and let's get through this episode.
Okay, Night of 1,000 Stars. So it is the last finale of Bolin's Nut Tuck Movers, and he goes and visits Mako, which I hate this interaction between him and Mako because he seems so stupidly aloof and like, oh well, you're in jail and I got to go to this movie premiere and nobody believes you type of. I mean, he doesn't say nobody believes you. He's just like he doesn't believe him. He doesn't believe Mako about what Varric's been doing. And that really just annoys me.
Maka's like never given him a reason to doubt at all, and
Yeah.
people frame people all the time.
Yeah.
Whatever, it's fine.
Um,
The Southern
Uh,
Rebels is that next line. The text is
Okay.
smaller
Oh,
than
yeah.
normal
So-
because I screwed everything up this week. So if Chris looks
No,
like
you're
he's straining, he's not going blind. It's not glaucoma. It's my shoddy software work. Chris, your eyes look great though. You don't look sleepy at all.
I have great vision. Anyway,
Southern
I
Rebels.
want. I I only brag about certain things. I can ride a bike with no hands very, very well. I can I have great vision, and I'm a really great dad.
Okay,
And
so the bike and the dad makes sense because you have to put effort into those. You don't get to brag about something that you have no
nah.
control over.
Oh, and also I'm great at sleeping. Like great at sleeping. Can take a nap, boom.
I'm
I'm
not
not like
convinced of the level of effort that goes into sleeping. I think that's kind of ironic. But I'll give you credit for more importantly being a killer dad. And I've never seen you ride a bike, but I trust you. I hope you just
I
mean a.
can make
I hope you mean a stationary bike. Like you're really good at just riding a stationary bike with no arms.
yeah. It says impossible. I can do it. No, I can make like probably let's see. I can make about 70-degree angle turns with
Ooh,
no hand.
that's saucy.
Yeah, it's
Um,
but
I would
anyway.
stick with the dad thing, and I'd
Yeah.
take credit for having great vision.
Yeah. Uh,
Ate lots of carrots.
oh, another thing I brag about is I've never drinking coffee. I've never did drugs and never bought a suit. I don't know, a couple different things that I brag about in my life. Some important, some not so important.
The suit one always cracks me up. Those are brag worthy. Those are Chris took effort as a human to do these persistently or not do these. I'll give you
I'm
those.
considering bringing up coffee because third kid, just it's like maybe my life would be better if I drink coffee. But
Nah, you're fine.
okay. So Michael Bolin goes to the movie premiere and they show the movie and he also has a stupid thing with that girl who he thinks he's dating. But Bolin just seems so dumb. Like there's
They
a
took
certain
him too
level of
far here.
there's a certain level of stupidity that is good. And then yeah, there's definitely a line and the part of that line is thinking not knowing the difference between acting and real
He
life.
feels far less. Usually, Bolin's relatable to me because we both have rocks for brains, but in this one, it doesn't feel as real or as well
Hmm.
constructed at all.
Yeah. Yeah. And then he there's a ploy to kidnap the president, and Bolin ends up fighting them, which is actually a pretty decent fight. I think it definitely has some highs. It's probably the highlight of one of the highlights of the episode. It has the backdrop of the mover that's happening at the same time, which that's kind of interesting. But all in all, I just wasn't that interested in that part of the story.
I like the fight with the mover backdrop. That's kind of a neat touch that we don't see. And then also the announcer guy who's in the audience, right?
Yes, he is
There's just
good.
like fun little touches that's about the highlight, the high points of the episode for sure.
Yeah. Um.
Is this the
Yeah.
episode where they get off the boat and Varric, or has this been a few episodes ago? They get off the boat and Varric's like, "Kid, being famous is like getting hit in the head with rocks every
That
day."
was that was a lot of episodes
That was a
ago. That
lot
was
of
probably
episodes
like
ago. I do like that
maybe
line, but
maybe four
oh
episodes
man,
ago.
I'm way behind. Oh, that's because that's when they first. Okay, yep, I'm
Yeah.
way off.
His big line in this one comes at the end there where he's like, "You can have my battleship, it's Zhu Li." And they're like, "You named your you named your battleship after your assistant?" Yes, they're both. Ah, I forgot what they said. They're both cold, heartless
I can't
monsters,
remember
something
either,
like
but
that.
I know it's. I gotta look it up. I'm gonna find it now while you get on the next.
Okay.
I love Varric's
Um,
dialogue, all of it.
it is good, yeah. Okay, so then there's another side story there where Rock is battling the Northern forces, um, but they're defeated by like dark spirits and stuff. And they're doing fairly well until the dark spirits comes and attack them. Then there's a pretty good. Actually, I think there's a really good, which just comes more towards the end of the episode. But I'll go ahead and talk about it. There's a pretty good Rock versus Unalaq fight, which I would have liked to be built up a lot more because this is kind of I don't know at the heart of this story is. I wish I would have made it more about them two. Maybe I just didn't like this episode all that much, not to give away my ratings. But that was a bright part of the episode, I think, was that fight between Rock and Monolok. Brother. It's always cool to see brothers fight, and I just felt like it more emphasis on that would have been a lot better.
I don't think anybody is gonna be too hard or too surprised at our ratings on this one. Not giving away too much too early, but I don't think that anybody's gonna.
Let's see. Oh, so then President Korra finally Marco's release. Oh, Korra finally talks to President Raiko, and she's saying like Unalaq is he isn't just trying to take over the South, he's trying to destroy the whole world. And Raiko believes her this time, but he still doesn't want to help her out because he's like, if you're right, then we need to protect Republic City, so he doesn't give her the naval forces that she needs. Which I don't hate President Raiko for that decision.
That seems
I mean,
standard political fare. I can get on board
yeah.
with that.
I mean, I guess you darned if you do, darned if you don't type of situation, so I don't fault him for it. I mean, he should have been more helpful up front, but whatever. Uh, and then then Mako's released, and
This
I,
one, he also has the line in this one. Wait, is this the wrong? Am I on the wrong episode? Where he's in prison with Julie. That's not happened yet.
that's in this episode.
Next episode where he's like, I don't go anywhere without her.
No, that's in this episode.
Oh, that is in this episode.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
I don't go anywhere without my assistant. That's in this one too. Sorry, off topic.
Well, on top. Yeah. So they let's see. Mako gets released, and then they have like a they do a nice little cheer for Mako. Like Bolin first goes in there, and he's honestly not. I don't think he's giving Mako enough credit because he's like, Mako, like you were bright. Like hey, we defeated Varric. Well, really, it was me. You didn't do that much, but so I don't know. It just kind of diminishes Mako. Luckily, when Mako returns to everybody, everyone gives him like a round of applause. But sort of feels like a little too late to whatever the saying is. What is the saying?
Too little, too late.
Too little, too late.
And it doesn't feel very apologetic to me. It doesn't feel very genuine.
It does. It's not like Mako. We're all so sorry
Marco,
that
we screwed up and you ended up in prison and then we almost died and we're sorry for all those things. It was more like Mako was right, like a charming, like a children's story or something where you're, I don't know. By the way, I found the line and it's they're both cold, heartless war machines.
Yeah, it's cool. uh, and for some reason, I think maybe the second time I saw, I think I remembered this line wrong. I thought he was saying like, "No, I named my assistant after my battleship."
Yeah. You kind of want him to say that, and you're like, "That's not possible," and you're like, "Well,
It's not possible. Like
maybe."
that's too mean. That would be too mean if you made your assistant like change her name to match your battleship.
That would be amazing. Or Julie is the name of the position. Like, you're not applying to be an assistant, you're applying to be Julie, and you have to play that role forever. And for the record, and I know that Chris will be disappointed in me, but I couldn't help it. I basically binged through the rest of Korra last week because I just given away too much, but the next seasons do a much better job at just reeling you in, and I just kept going and going and going. And Varric's dialogue just gets better. I don't know that the character necessarily gets a ton better. I think it does, up for debate, but his dialogue and involvement just gets better.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah, we were talking a little bit about this, about how in later seasons he's far more of a ingenuitive thinker, like Tony Stark-esque, but without the charisma, without the actual physical abilities. Just the brains, essentially.
He becomes less businessman and more mad scientist in a weird way. But
yeah,
when he's describing conscience, because he doesn't know what his conscience is, and he's describing it,
yeah,
I was like falling out of my chair laughing. Heather came to see what was wrong with me.
That's great.
There's all these voices in my head, and I'm starting to care about other people.
Don't listen to those voices. Listen to me. I don't know who these voices are. Forget those voices. I'll do whatever you say.
Oh my gosh, I was almost crying. I'd forgotten all about it, but yeah, he gets better and he grows. I already liked him a lot. He grows on me.
My favorite line, I think, in it is I think it's season 3 when they meet him is they're like, you framed Mako and you blew up a building. It's like, it was my building. A man has a right to blow up his
It's
own
all
building.
building. And you were in prison. What did he say? And you broke out of prison. I did not break out of prison. The universe set me free.
Yeah.
It's killing me. Oh my goodness. I always forget the guy's name who you want is like your casting call for Varric in a live action movie.
Uh,
Derek.
Dang it.
I don't remember his name. Uh,
Jason Mantzoukas.
yeah,
That's
that
his
guy.
name.
The only issue I have is that I really want it to be Varric's voice. Like I don't want Varric's voice to change. So I wish that guy, whoever that voice actor is, would just be Varric. I have no idea who it is or what he looks like, but
He's like a very white guy.
wouldn't work. Damn.
It would not work.
Well, he sounds like a very white '80s businessman. So
Yeah. But no, I would love if Jason Mantzoukas did very like just those lines and just the way that he goes off on these random tangents and how he's there at sometimes, but then he's not there. But I've been watching a lot of Brooklyn Nine-Nine lately, and he's great in that. I think my favorite it's between
oh,
that and
it's
the
that
good.
guy. Oh god, I didn't know it was him. The community guy, the
Yeah,
professor. What's his name? Seize the day winger. That
yeah,
guy.
it's Carpe Diem.
Carpe diem. I didn't know it was him. That's awesome. That's a
Yeah.
that's a big name. He could do it. Like he's a good enough actor and not just voice act. I know it's whitewashing, but sorry.
He can't do it.
There could
It was
be
funny.
a white
Him.
character in there could be one. Like, come on.
What was it? He and the actress for Lin Beifong, they were at a Comic Con with the other voice actors, and they were talking about like what would happen if Varric and Lin hooked up. And
Ooh.
it was just some funny interactions between all of them. But
Ooh. No, I had no idea it was that guy. But that's awesome.
yeah,
So
the, the lady
quarantine.
who the lady who voices Lin, if you want to know, is the lady who voices. Have you watched Austin Power movies?
Uh huh.
Frau.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
Oh, I would not have put those together. I remember you've told me before, and I remember Kuvira is Robin Williams' daughter, whose name I should
Yep.
know.
Do you not know her name?
I know I'm
It
supposed
is.
to. Give me a second.
Okay. Don't know. Don't look it up though. You gotta think.
No, no,
Oh, okay.
I can't remember though. I know I'm supposed to. I can't like
Yes. It is based off of a. This is almost a too easy clue. It's based off a video game.
Zelda. Zelda
Yes.
Williams because of the commercials and okay, I'm with you now. That was I don't know how else you make that hint. Like I don't know how you soften that hint though.
Yeah. Let's see where we at here. Okay, so
Cora and
Mako gets
Tenzin. I don't even remember
released.
why I made that note. Cora and Tenzin make up and apologize, or I don't
No,
remember
that
why
was
that
in a
note's there.
previous. That was in a previous episode.
They
Of,
definitely do something together here. I just don't remember what it is.
they dropped Janor. They go back to the temples and they talk about how they're gonna get Varric, not get Varric, get Unalaq. And Pema is really worried about Janora.
That's
That's
right.
essentially it.
But
Um,
are they looking for like spiritual energy hotspots?
no, that was in a previous
Dang it!
episode.
Can't remember
So you've
anything.
watched? Yeah, you watched so far.
I know I went too much.
No.
I overdid it. I ruined everything.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'll probably just rewatch things as we go back through. I enjoy it
That's
thoroughly.
fine. Okay, so then by the end of the episode, Team Avatar is back and they're reunited, which is good because honestly, them being so separated kind of made this season I think lose a little bit of focus. Um, and so like yeah, so Team Avatar now is all back. They all have kind of one purpose, one goal, and they go back to Varric because they think they can get ships from him, and he tells them, "Yeah, you can go to my ship. You can have a battleship and everything."
Cold, heartless war
Truly,
machine.
yeah. Um, there's something of note towards the end between everybody. Oh, Korra, because Korra lost her memory, she hasn't regained it fully yet, and so she doesn't remember her breaking up with Mako. And then
Oh yeah.
she jumps into Mako's arms
Just some high
and
school
kisses him.
romantic
Yeah,
drop like
yeah, yeah.
crap.
And then, but at that point, Mako and Asami got back together, but Korra doesn't even remember them breaking up. Well, she doesn't remember Korra and Mako breaking up. And then Mako is like, "So you're not mad at me?" And Korra's like, "Why would I be mad at you?" He's like, "We had a fight before you left." And she's like, "I honestly don't remember anything. Was it a big fight?" And like, I hate the high school drama stuff, but I find it's funny. He's just like,
No, no, it's not
no.
perfect at all.
And everybody's looking at him like, oh crap, Mako.
Well, they like pan to Asami, right? She's got the death glare on.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I
poor
mean, if I was
Asami.
Mako, I don't know what you say in this time, honestly. Like you're not you either distract the avatar
Oh, I
who
I'm a
who
delay person. I'm like, let's talk about it later. You know what I mean? Like that's my
yeah, but just
go-to in all of life's problems.
but just him saying, "Hey, we should talk about this later," deal is gonna say a lot to Cora. She'll be like, "Wait, what do we like?" Imagine your wife went to you and was like, "We need to talk later." No matter what it is, it's on your mind.
Why you gotta turn these logical examples? Wife or like boss,
You're like,
maybe it could be the same
"Why?
thing.
Wait, why do we have to talk later?
Oh
What
crap!
is this? What did I?"
And I come later and it's like, would you make dinner this evening? It's, oh, thank God, because you're
Yeah.
in trouble. Oh no.
No
Yeah.
one likes
So
to hear the worst words in any relationship is the four worded phrase, "We need to talk." Is nothing good's from "we need to talk."
I
If
think I'm
that's
usually the one in our relationship that says it, but it's always A, less serious, and B, way more words to say what you're saying. It's always way more words because I don't know how
we
to
need to
concise.
talk about what we're going to eat for dinner.
We,
That's
hey, if you have a minute, I was like wondering if maybe you and I could sit down. We could have a nice chat about this over some beverages, and that's my approach. Well, that's the episode. Let's go ahead and jump to
that's the episode.
the big reveal.
All right, so audio visual 7.5. Um, there's two highlights here. There was I think the bowling with the mover stuff going on, which I thought was good. And then at the end there, here's the fight between Unalaq and Tanarak, which I would have really loved if that focused on that. Like, I don't need it to the sibling levels of Azula, Zuko, Agni Kai, but I just wanted to feel like it has more personal stakes. Like, this is their relationship that's on the line. His brother is losing his humanity slowly, or gradually and more gradually. Um, I wish they would done that a whole lot. I wish they would just done that whole kind of story element a little bit better this season. It could have made for a better fight. That fight could have been the focal point of this episode and not the bone mover things. Although
Yeah.
I'm sure that the creators really had fun doing that, so that's good for them because you like to get some good I don't know feelings out of your art.
I
Anyway,
mean, and it's not ideal, but by and large, kind of harmless, I suppose. So
yeah.
yeah.
So audio gave it 7.5. Story, I gave a 6. I did not care for the mover stuff, the bowling stuff that nobody believed in Mako until they 100% absolutely knew. Until a person said, Varric hired me type of deal. Yeah, I didn't like that aspect of it at all. And then I thought Mitch just mentioned before, the Unalaq Rock aspect of it should be given more attention. For memorable, gave it a 6. I don't need to watch this episode to enjoy this season, and it probably makes my enjoyment of the season less. This might be my least favorite episode
Of this
of all of
season,
Legend of Korra.
no, Remembrances is worse. Don't try to brush it up. Yes,
Okay.
it is. Stop it.
But
The
like I at least respect remembrances
you
because
respect the context of Remember, and I do too. I think the back. If I didn't know the backstory, it would be way worse. But as an
yeah,
episode by itself,
that's fair.
but the context behind Remembrances is beautiful. Really, it's very Avatar esque in its own right. So I mean, I get
Yeah.
it. But
I watched that out of respect. Six
Yeah,
and a half.
it's sort of a reminder of like, hey, there's really humans that are behind this stuff that have jobs and livelihoods and such. Yeah, 6.5. That's not a big winner. I was a little more generous in mine. I hope I can kind of remember my thought process because it's been a while. Audiovisual, I gave an 8. I have no issues with anything audiovisual in here, and the fight scene I do think is kind of a nice touch. I like the announcer guy in the audience, and I like fighting in front of the mover screen. That's all kind of fun. No qualms. Story, I don't like romantic drama at all. Bolin's dumb. I also don't. I like that Bolin is a mover star, but I don't care to see much of his mover star stuff
I
at
like
all.
that too. I like that Bolin. I like that as a character trait of Bolin. He has no idea what he wants to do with his life. Like he started off pro bending, then he went to be a mover, and then for a short time in the comic books, he was a cop with Mako. Oh, and then he worked with Kuvira. Like to me,
He
that's a good like character trait of him. Like I don't know what I want to do with my life. Like I'm just gonna do a bunch of stuff.
and I'm going to do it big. I'm going to go topical humor here. He is Tim Tebow, is what he is. He's Tim Tebow. He. No, I'm totally fine that he is a mover star and that comes back and that's very handy. Oh, that's excellent.
Yeah, I
That's
love this when it
beautiful.
comes up on my
He
TV.
says it's a Roku, right?
No, I think it's just yeah, it was just it's not Roku. I was just on Netflix. Yeah, because
Oh,
I'm not
you're
on
just
Roku right now.
lingering on Netflix. Okay, well maybe that's the
Yeah.
difference. My TV's just shut off if I let them sit. They are Fire TVs. No, so I'm happy that Bolin's a mover star and he's interesting and that's like a good fit for him in what you've described. But I don't need to see any of that. It's or at least they don't do. It's not very interesting, I guess. So sorry, maybe could have gone lower, but whatever. It's harmless, I guess. Memorable, I did a 7. I could have maybe gone just a smidge. Like if I go back, I would maybe brush that up a little bit because I like some of the Varric moments, or
Mm.
at least they're very memorable to me. Again, I like the big fight. There's a couple things that really stick out to me, but I put a 7 there, and that's what I got. And it's not the most memorable for the grand plot or anything like that. It's just those little sort of things I'm picking out. So maybe that's the right place for it. So that came out as a 6.9, which is also not great. If you're good at math, you could probably guess that makes a 6.7. And I believe our lowest rated Korra episode so far,
Wow.
on
Okay.
the Korra side. But I don't know. When I'm watching it, I think it's not all bad, but there's just a big enough chunk of it that is actively unappealing to me. Like it's not just totally inoffensive or forgettable or
Yeah.
anything. There's certain parts that are actively offensive or unlikable.
Yeah.
But we get some good Varric lines, so I'll watch it for some Varric lines. I never would remember by titles. I don't have a memory for titles like you do. So if I'm watching through a season, chances are I'm just watching. I'm not gonna skip. I don't have a daughter that remembers things really well, and that remembers exactly what episode she's gonna jump to next. So
Yeah.
until I have that in my life, I will just watch things ignorantly and obliviously.
But I do think this might be the last episode that I very much that I just dislike of season two, which means it's the last episode that I dislike at all. Besides, I don't dislike Remembrances. I rather watch this episode than Remembrances, but yeah, I don't know, I don't dislike it for some.
Remembrance is what
Yeah,
it is.
it is what it is.
I would say that I like the remaining episodes of book two better, but just because of my kind of disdain for the whole storyline. Not disdain, that's too strong a word. Lesser attraction to the whole
Yeah.
storyline. They're not my favorite. And now that I've watched 3 and 4, and it's kind of reiterated those feelings.
Mm. Three
Um,
and I love three. Three. It took me a while to like really love four, I think, but three out of the gate, I was like, holy crap, this is gonna be a good season. Like it's almost like a huge tonal, it's just a huge shift
it is.
from this book.
Well, you said it right out of the gate. Like they hook you in 3. They hook you immediately. Like I'm trying to think back to 2. It's like the first 3 episodes were nothing, and then I don't know. It was like episode 3 at the end when they come back to the
Yeah.
to to the pole and finally something seems like it's gonna happen, but I don't. But 3, they hook you right out of the gate. When I was watching 3, all I could think of, like the only nitpick I could come from 3 is like a season, is it feels like there's a few more what I'm gonna call plot conveniences. Uh, but I don't care at all. I loved it. Loved it. Loved it. So excited to get to those. More excited than the end of 2, but it's okay. No offense, end of 2. You're fine, or at least we'll talk about how fine or not fine you are in coming weeks, like next week, when we will be back covering episode 12, which has a title that I don't remember right now. I'm sure it's a lovely title.
I don't know the title of
I don't remember either. It's probably very important. How many is there? 13 or 14 episodes in season 2?
12 in each one, except for. Oh, I'm sorry, 14.
No, this one got at least.
Wait, what?
It has at least 13.
I did not know the seasons were this different. Book 1 is 12 episodes. Book 2 is 14 episodes. Book 3 is 13 episodes. Book 4 is 13 episodes.
I was thinking this one was 14 because I felt like we had to, like if we recorded back-to-backs tonight and then back-to-backs the next time, we would be done, and now will be off a bit. But yeah, that's
Yeah.
But okay,
Next episode is harmonic convergence.
Yay!
So pretty huge.
It's a big deal in their minds. That's good. That's good. And I'm making a big deal out of it, but
We only got 3 more episodes to go.
They're good.
This season.
And then we'll get to 3, and 3 is, like I said, 3 gets you right out of the gate, gets you all jacked up, leaves you asking questions the whole time.
Yeah.
I'm excited. But anyway, we hope you did not mind our slight briefness this evening. But if there is an episode to be pretty brief about, it's probably this one, and that's totally fine. This was Legend of Korra, Book 2, Spirits, Chapter 11, Night of 1,000 Stars. We will be back next week, again, with just another normal episode, I think. I don't think there's any holidays coming up till Father's Day. We've already ranked the dads. We'll think of something else for Father's Day. Wonder what. We'll bring back up the who's Lynn's father, or something like that.
Ooh,
we'll go back to that one in podcast format. You covered it in thoughtful video format. Well, what about
well, we could debate the
oh, I like
merits
that.
or whatever. That's good.
But anyway, standard episode next time. Chapter 12 should be a good one. Thank you so much for watching. My name's Sean. That's Chris Ford, aka The Objective Geek. I pointed down. He's not down. He's up there. Go check him out on YouTube and Twitter, and check us out on Twitter, Instagram, @last_podcasters, or facebook.com/Avatar the Last Podcasters. And we really appreciate you guys listening. Come check out next week.
Peace.